Um,
Yeah, I know I sparked some shit. I didn't mean to. Okay, like first and foremost, like I know how big of a topic like SBMM and all that shit is because I remember that when Activision had to come out with all their explanation for how Call of Duty works, and believe you me, I played first-person shooters long enough that yeah, it was me on Discord. Uh, but yeah, I went out. No, no, I get it. I get it. I get it. And listen, I'm purposefully not saying the name of the dev because I don't want to get anybody in trouble. Like we went out drinking. I went out with a couple of the content creators um, from Embark. So I'm friends with. I mean, you can see in the video. I'm there with Neon Guts. I'm there with Young. Young is the coach of Alliance for the major, right, for the finals. It's like, so I know all those dudes. I've known Rob for quite a while now. Last year I went to TwitchCon and the finals had a booth there, and Rob remembers me from his days at Dice when they did the Only in Battlefield 3 competition. So if you look on my channel, I have, I think my most viewed video is like 400,000 views. Um, and it's from the Only in Battlefield. And Rob remembered that. And so he's given me access to like Tech Test 1 and all that stuff. So point being, like these people are my friends, I would consider. I mean, I'm not part of the Embark Creator Program. Maybe if I was, they would put me under some sort of like NDA or something. But when everybody goes out drinking and hanging out, you know, I actually specifically didn't ask this question. I had asked about what the cadence was for talent tree resets, um, but that's it. And then the particular dev then shared with me like, we don't use traditional SBMM. This is what we do. And I was like, oh, okay, cool. Thought that was interesting. I mean, considering they've spent 6 years cooking this game, like my opinion is, if it is bad, I would have assumed they would have figured that out during tech test too. But maybe during the server slam they realize it's a problem. I mean, it's such a controversial topic. I just trust them that they're going to make the right decision. Um, but yeah, anyway, I didn't mean to start a shit show. But I also, like I said, I just don't want to call the person's name out. Like I'd rather people call me a liar than call the name out of the developer because I do intend to hopefully eventually be part of the content creator program for Embark. And I love and respect Embark. I mean, Rob, one of the founders of the studio, told me last year when I was at TwitchCon about the story when he left EA and when he left DICE because they were trying to force him to push Battlefield 5 out when it wasn't done. Like, they have great integrity and they're an awesome studio. And so I don't want to cause any fucking issues. Now, what I would love is maybe this topic to then cause them to come out and explain, which, you know, everybody on the Embark side looks like they're asleep in Discord. At least they all have the moon by their names, which well deserved. They're putting out a big game next week, but hopefully this will drive a conversation about it. And I think that's fair. I think everyone should know, like, generally speaking, what it is. You know what I mean? But yeah. Anyway, but yeah, I'm unk. You know, status, right? I'm 42 years old. Like, I'm not just gonna say shit to get views and likes and stuff like that, especially with Embark, because I fucking love them. Like, if they came out to me and said like, "Hey, we need you to recant that," like, I wouldn't do that because I have the integrity that I wouldn't say that. But I would also tell them who said it to me, and they could deal with it internally. You know. So again, like, they're all great people. I've loved. Yeah, I played the first tests of the finals. I, like I said, the tech tests of Arc Raiders. Like, you can see my fucking channel logo and everything is all Arc Raiders. Like, I'm passionate about this game, so I mean no harm in this. I think it's just a good conversation to be had because yeah, I personally am like kind of indifferent about it. I mean, I played the tech test and I never really noticed it. Now it's one of those things like once you know, then it's maybe something you'll think about more and it's like aim assist, right? Once you know aim assist is a thing, then you start feeling aim assist every time you get killed by someone on console, and you're like, God damn it. And so similarly, like, you know, it could maybe skew people's perspective of the game, but conversely, like, I think that, you know, being open and transparent about what it is important. And I have one of my buddies loves going like zero to hero in like Gray Zone Warfare and Tarkov, right? So I get the argument of like not having it as well. Like, I totally appreciate going in with a pistol and coming out ahead, you know? Like, so Hunt's matchmaking is SBMM. They have a system that tells you. I think on my, I don't. Let me see. Do I have my last game?
No,
Oh,
we got to play one first.
yeah. So it just shows you if you're like 5-star, 6-star rating or whatever. So it's like region based, and then, yeah, star baked. Yeah, I agree. So sorry, I'm looking at the comments. Melta Hero. Yeah, I agree. It's a good topic, right? Like, again, I I don't imagine they haven't thought about it, right? Like, think about all the things they've done. I mean, the fact that they're making changes from the server slam to now is an indication of them being receptive. So I would be absolutely shocked if they don't come out tomorrow with something about it. I feel a little bit bad because I'm sure they've been cramming the last couple of weeks to put the game out. So I feel bad from that perspective. I'm empathetic towards the humans involved, right? But from a game design decision perspective, I'm sure they have good data as to why it makes sense, right? Like, and again, like I said in the video, if you look at the finals, they're iterative developers and they'll make changes if they need to be made. Yeah, yeah, I could see how they could complain. Zero to hero is fun, but so is not killing free kits when you're juiced. Yeah, I agree. Oh, listen, I'm all about Arc Raiders. I took the days off of work and plan on streaming for 2 days. And yeah, I mean, it's a passion project from some amazing developers. You know, that's one of the questions I did ask about their relationship with Nexon. Because, like I said, a lot of them, including, you know, Rob and some of the others, used to work at DICE. And I asked them, like, hey, is Nexon forcing you to push it out, right? Like, just like EA was forcing him to push out Battlefield 5. And I asked them that last year. I asked Rob that at TwitchCon when they were there with the finals. I was like, hey, like, you know, is Nexon going to force you to change the monetization model? Like, are they happy with the performance of the finals? And the feedback was like, yeah, they're happy. They knew when we formed the studio that we wanted to do something different than what we had done. We didn't want it to be another EA DICE situation. So, like, I heard that, and then I asked the same question to a whole other set of people because Rob's didn't come to TwitchCon this year because we're getting ready for the major in Stockholm at DreamHack. And so talking to the other devs, I was just like, hey, like, on the Arc Raiders side, obviously, like, you know, y'all put a trailer out in 2021 for the Game Awards, right? Like, clearly your investors are allowing for 5 additional years of development. Like, that's kind of unheard of in today's gaming environment. I'm like, I would put you next, you have like Valve Software, and you have like Rockstar Games, and like, you know, and then like Embark, right? Like, tell me other studios that aren't like forcing stuff out the door. And so I'm like, you guys are, you know, if it's actually true that your investors aren't forcing you to push anything out, like, that's amazing. And they said, yeah, absolutely. We need another year, they would give us that. So, like, all encouraging, all positive stuff for us gamers. But yeah. Yeah, I may have saved them some money. They may be pissed at me now too, though. But that's why I'm pointedly not specifically saying the names of the people I was out there with, because I don't want. They were very nice people. They were very gracious. I spent, you know, you saw in the video, I spent a bunch of time talking to them during the panel, and then I stood out in the hall with them for probably 15 minutes asking a bunch more questions. And to be fair, it wasn't the 3 of those that were on the stage. It was another developer, but. Yep, I agree. No rushing things. I think that ultimately, I mean, I am a little disappointed in the people that weren't excited with the tech test, because, or sorry, the server slam, because the tech test was pretty amazing. Like, I played it nonstop. I was at TwitchCon for the server slam, so thankfully I flew out Friday morning, and so I got to log in to get my cosmetic. But, you know, they let you play at the booth for like 20 minutes or whatever. It's just a really small slice of the game, you know, compared to all the other maps and the variations and all those things. And obviously there's even more than that now. So I'm glad that the hype is starting to pick back up, because I saw a little bit of the feedback. Like I said, I was boots on the ground at TwitchCon, so I wasn't paying attention too much to what was going on online. But yeah, that's awesome. Pre-ordered Deluxe 2 weeks ago, played Server Slam and instantly hooked. That's awesome. Yeah, people think GBMM is wild. And that's the thing. Like, again, he specifically said it's GBMM does that mean that there's not other considerations? What is the range on the gear? You'll call it gear score if we want to compare it to like a World of Warcraft. Like, what does the range even mean, right? Like, is it a broad range of 1,000 points? And, you know, so I'm curious. But, you know, conversely, like, it would be super shitty to load into a round against a bunch of people with like all purple weapons and all like high end shields, because, you know, I think in a Tarkov or like in a Hunt Showdown, like you get a headshot, all of a sudden somebody who came in with like the highest tier gear, like it's an equalizer. I feel like in a game like Arc Raiders, like unless they're getting like fucked by the Rocketeer or something, if you're coming in with a shit ass pistol, like it's a pretty big uphill battle. Like I don't think the world of Zero to Hero is what people will think it's going to be. But who knows?
Yeah, I mean, my opinion definitely is like a not a strict gear-based matchmaking could be healthy.
Well, and I think as the gear economy settles, right, then to your point, that's where you start considering other factors, because I don't know what aim assist even looks like for console versus PC, right? Like I've been playing Battlefield the last few days and trying to see what that looks like, but you and I both know, like at least Warzone, right? Like Shroud said it, right? Like Warzone versus PC, like it's a consideration, and I love the fact that it's crossplay. So I'm not saying that it's necessarily a bad thing to have like aim assist, but that's also a consideration, you know, input based matchmaking, right? Like I think that's something to be considered, especially in a game where you're sniping very long distances. Yeah, non-strict one. I agree with non-strict, and that's why I said like there's got to be additional factors, like gear-based for sure, like because that's been spoke to me verbatim. But I'm sure that there's a lot of other considerations around like server matchmaking time. Like no one's queued at the same time in your region that has like the same gear score as you. Like does that, you know, range broaden, or what does that end up looking like? But yeah, back to what Pirate Bay said. I almost said Pirate Software. I saw him at TwitchCon. Pirate Bay said like Embark knows what they're doing. They've made games for a very long time, and I have to imagine. I mean, there's 50,000 people on PC alone that played Tech Test 2, and then consoles on top of that. Like that's a pretty decent sample size. And again, like to create a shooter nowadays for third person, first person, whatever, and not have matchmaking be a consideration. I'm sure there's a whole team about it and a bunch of data to back up whatever their decision is. If they're going for immersive, then going into a hostile environment means it's hostile, right? I'm going for input matchmaking. I'm tired of getting slapped on by people with the Cronus. Yeah, I'm curious. I know the new Battlefield, right? They're banning people with Cronus or something like that. I heard like Call of Duty isn't, but Iceman Isaac said something the other day about how they're banning. Yeah, I'm curious. I mean, Hunt Showdown has a very similar wipe system. So for people that aren't familiar with Hunt, like, you know, I've prestiged what 32 times or something like that, and so basically, I reset my account. I have to like unlock all my guns all over again. But it does like give my account some cash. So what'll usually happen is I'll have like no cash. I'll run out of cash. I'm like, okay, I got to prestige so I can like get cash again and start building up again. But they will give you cosmetics as well. From what he had mentioned to me, same person. I now said he, so whoops. But what he had mentioned to me was that on the resets, it sounds like it's timed with those optional wipes, effectively like Hunt. Like Hunt is, there's no wipes in Hunt. It's like optional whenever you want to prestige, effectively they call it. But they give the rewards they give. Am I level 100? Prestige. I think I am. Yeah, I'm rank 100. Let's see. Am I? I don't. This new UI, dude. Prestige available.
Yes, you are.
Okay, so prestige now. So reset my bloodline. My rank will revert to 1. Gear and hunters active roster will be lost. Equipment skin unlocks, hunter unlocks. So I still get I have my skins, and then it'll basically say
you can see all the rewards there too.
Right here. Well, I can say I want 2,000 hunt bucks. I want 10% on all mission XP or a random equipment skin or hunter. I don't know why that's not active. Like that's not an option. So I'll like do 2,000 hunt bucks. So there we go. So now my account is prestige. So now the number up here, number go up, yay, number higher. So now I lost, all the hunters that I had, which I didn't have much, and my account is wiped, and the number goes up. I know what Embark had said to me was that there will be cosmetic rewards, but like in Hunt, like in some cases, like to get a skin, it's like you have to reset your account 10 times. Now, I'm not saying Embark's going to do that. Maybe you get something every time, but like specifically a skin for the what's the one shot Bashy,
the
Sparks. Yeah, there's a skin for the Sparks, Louisiana Lustrum, that you have to prestige 10 times to get. I mean, I'm sure just like everybody else here, just like fucking stoked to hop in on Thursday, and just explore. I really, it does feel like the menus are a lot better now too. I kind of got lost in them during the tech test, but it feels like that's a lot smoother as well. Yeah. Well, but listen, I'm not doing this content farm. I mean, if you look through my channel, you can see I'm trying to put quality content out there. I just felt like I had a unique position because I was at TwitchCon. I will also say this, like I reached out to Rockhound Black, which him and I have talked a lot. And if you're following Arc Raiders at all, like, who he is. And I offered to I'm like, hey, do you want me to film any content for you at TwitchCon? And we're going to do a collaborated video and whatnot at some point. But I just want to participate. And gaming is my passion. Like I have a great profession. This is what I do for fun. So I don't want to fuck my relationship up with anybody to, just to get, I think my video made me $14, like not worth to sell out. So, but at the same time, arguing with people online is the last thing I want to do. I mean, I started engaging with people on Reddit and I'm like, I'm too old to know, or I'm old enough to know not to do this. But at the same time, I saw everybody in the chat there and I just wanted to let people know, I'm being authentic. I'm not trying to stir the pot. I just found some interesting information. And if someone else would have found it out too, I would have loved to heard it. And at the very least, if it sparks a conversation where Embark comes out and said, no, he's actually completely wrong, or don't even address me directly and tell us what it is, great. I don't care. I just, it'd be good to know. That works perfect for me. Yeah, only shared my TwitchCon because it was obvious I was there. Yeah, exactly. I created a bunch of Arc Raiders content when I had access to the tech test, and then I stopped creating it for months because I only recorded so much content and I didn't want to just post bullshit. And so that's why I wanted, when I was at TwitchCon, I was actually there for work, and so when I was there, I was like, okay, I want to capture some content. And then this particular thing that happened to catch a lot of interest, which I'm not surprised, just kind of happened organically when we went out. I should have asked it in the panel. I was just telling Bashy, who's on Discord with me, I should have asked it in the panel. That would have been a great place, I don't know why it didn't cross my mind when we were sitting there. I don't want to get loaded into a match with a free kit and get domed by somebody with legendary gear. That's just bad gameplay. PvP ain't that serious. It's just secondary. Yeah, I think that's a consideration too, right? If you watch that panel, I think they're calling it an extraction adventure instead of an extraction shooter, and they're also intentionally making it so the AI is supposedly as hard as it once was. I've heard, there's obviously, it's probably a little bit different because in the original trailer there's teams of more than 3 people fighting in Arc, so I'm sure there's some balance there, but they want to keep it engaging, difficult, whatever. I would say it did feel a little bit harder in tech test, and it turns out there was a bug with the flying units, if you guys read that, where they could see through foliage and stuff, and so that makes more sense because I didn't feel like I could get away from them when I was running and stuff like that. So that's one of the things that's being addressed before launch. But yeah, I mean, it is there were times in tech test too where we teamed up with people to fight the queen, and stuff, and I would love all of them to be carrying their own weight with gear, especially since there's a bunch of surprises they haven't talked about that we haven't seen yet, right? There's that new I can't remember the name of the map, but sorry, I'm just catching up with comments. I'd rather match people with similar gear and have a balanced fight than go up against unemployed sweat lords relaxing on a Saturday evening. Yeah, and that's the thing, right? I don't know. a good player is going to be a good player. So this almost leans. I remember the days that everybody didn't want SBMM, and this leads more towards that world because you're not. It's not has nothing to do with skill. So if you go up against Shroud and he's wearing nothing and you're wearing nothing, then it's like a game of chess. You know, it's. I kind of like it from that perspective. Again, I'll trust Embark even if they change it or whatever they end up doing. Like I'll trust them. But that's what I love about like a StarCraft round. What I hated about World of Warcraft arenas, where it's like people, or Destiny PvP in some cases, where it's like, oh, your light level is going to impact how much damage you're doing to other players. And so in a PvP environment, to have everybody similar to the same gear level, and then it becomes skill, that's interesting, you know? But anyway, what's up, Agent? So people, yeah, they want free loadout, spam stealing people's hard work and grabbing that. Could be true. I mean, I would say I got on the tech or the server slam at the very end, and because there wasn't a whole lot to do in the server slam, compared to like the tech tests, it did feel like, because I was on for maybe the last hour and a half when I captured that footage because I flew back from TwitchCon that night. It did feel like it had devolved a little bit into a deathmatch environment because people didn't really have meaningful things to accomplish, quests to do, etc. And I got extract camped several times, which did not happen really much at all in the tech tests. So to your point though, like, you know, I think that's a consideration. Like I can just go in with an empty kit and just wait for people to trigger the Rocketeer at the exfil and like hope I get a full loadout off of it. Like obviously that's not fun.
Then you got to look at games like how Tarkov handles that. That's a fine line between feeling really shitty and being on the other end of that, being, you know, really cool, coming out, really good gear.
Yeah, no, agreed. Can I confirm GBMM is coming? Again, I had a developer tell me that. I'm not gonna say who it was, but yes, I had somebody tell me that. But again, maybe it's part of an overall picture, but they they pointedly brought it up to me. I'd asked about the resets, and then they brought up SBMM to me and specifically mentioned they don't have SBMM. Gear-based matchmaking is how it works. I inquired, and they just kind of went into detail about, you know, everybody in the round being within a certain range and having it being normalized among your group, right? If two people are naked and then one person has a bunch of high-level gear, like that normalizes, which is kind of like Hunt Showdown in regard to SBMM, where it's like if you go in as a 6-star and then you have like 2 1-stars, and you're gonna have people like at 3 stars in the middle or whatever. You could probably still get an anvil, get pretty just lobby, and have a huge come up. Yeah, I know. I know they nerfed. I didn't get to play with the anvil. I know they nerfed it. It was my favorite weapon in Tech Test 2, though. Server slam wouldn't be a good indicator of GBMM anyway, since gear was limited. Yeah, for sure. Like, yeah, and I don't know how many people were willing to dump effort into like a weapons bench. Like I said, unfortunately, I only got to play for a short amount of time because I was traveling to TwitchCon and back. But I'm sure like Shroud, you know, Shroud like fucking nailed it in the tech test, if you recall, and like, you know, I think maxed out everything. So yeah, it was locked at level 1. Okay, yeah, I didn't really, like I said, I flew home from TwitchCon. I got home at 10 p.m. and the server shut off at midnight. So I hopped on just to film to get some content. We have not played yet, Agent. I just, as you probably saw in my Discord, like the conversation's popping off a little bit, so I figured
he poked the beehive. He poked the beehive.
I'm sorry. If any of you would have been shared information, I would have appreciated it as well. That's all I'm saying. Like, that's all. But yeah, so we're just chatting. I just figured it'd be easier here than trying to navigate. Don't apologize. It's great. I mean, I'm the one that put the video up. The second he said that to me, I knew that there was something there. You know what I mean? Like I said, I wouldn't make a video if it wasn't something interesting or unique. Now, I probably would have made a video of like, hey, yeah, I was at TwitchCon, but you know, like matchmaking didn't even really cross my mind until that conversation. And I was like, oh shit, I didn't even think about it during the tech test because I didn't, you know, we're just playing, having fun. I mean, that game's so goddamn engaging. Like I didn't really even think about any of that, right? I'm just like having a fucking blast, you know, like I'm sure like everybody else did. Yeah, who the fuck is Slomax? Great question. I'm 42 and I still don't know. You can find here high-tier weapons. Yeah, I heard that there's a video someone posted, like a weapons crate that was on the edge of the map or whatever that had a what's it called? Starts with an O, right? Osprey, maybe. Yeah, haters are gonna hate. No, listen, I've gamed online long enough to know. Like in the finals, I turned the text chat off. Like, yeah, like I said, I used to be decent at shooters. I'm in my 40s, so I'm like unk status now. So I gotta, I can't let people online get me pissed off because then it just is exactly what they want and then it feeds into it. 20 hours to find an osprey. I used to be. I said used to be. I used to be. I mean, Bashy here's 30.
30.
Like, yeah, he's the one that carries our Battlefield 6 lobbies for sure. Like, Unk status can relate. Yeah, that's why I like games like, I mean, I love every fucking shooter, but I've been, my first shooter was like Wolfenstein 3D, then Doom. But yeah, I was 10 years old playing Wolfenstein 3D in 1993, and Doom came out in 1993. So, yeah, that's how I got into all of this. Quick story on me. You may not give a shit, so that's fine. I appreciate you stopping by, but I got into programming because of gaming, and so I started learning Quake C. That was my first programming language. I learned how to make maps for Doom, which I met John Romero in 2013. He was at a Comic-Con that I was at, and I got to talk to him for an hour and a half because he made GTK Radiant, which was a program that you would make maps in Doom on, and I used that when I was a kid. And it turns out it's built in Next Step, which is Objective-C, basically, for any developers out there, like before the Swift programming language for iOS. Anyway, but we had a good long talk. And then I started making maps and mods for video games. That's what got me into web development. And then I started making, I made maps for Quake, Quake 3, I made a mod for, and then Half-Life 2. And then I made a mod for Half-Life 2, and then Doom 3 I made a mod for, and then I think that's it. And then I got my job programming, but then I started a video gaming show, and so I started a show called Geeks. It's like the Gaming and Electronics Expo, and basically it was I worked with a bunch of game studios in Utah. I live in Utah. Spoiler alert. And I worked with a bunch of game studios. So I got to work with John Dean, who was the executive producer of EA Salt Lake. They did The Sims. I got to work with David Jaffe, who was the head of Eat, Sleep, Play, who made Twisted Metal, also based out of Salt Lake City. Avalanche Studios is here. They did Disney Infinity. And then I reached out to a bunch of people in 2010 looking for more content for the show. And I've reached out to like all the fucking gaming companies. Oh, you're in Salt Lake? Awesome. Yeah, I'm in Salt Lake as well. Well, I'm in the Valley. I reached out to a bunch of different developers, and Gabe Newell sent me a box of swag. And then Mark Rain from Epic actually connected me with a company called Chair, which is a bunch of developers from BYU that created a studio. And they made a game called Shadow Complex. And then they made a game called Infinity Blade for the iPhone and the iPad. And then Donald Mustard, who ran that company, who was the president of Chair, then became the creative director for Fortnite. And so he was over all of Fortnite. And so I used to go to their company parties every year. So in 2011, I went to the Game Developers Conference in San Francisco, and I met Notch. That was the year that Minecraft was independent game of the year, the year before he sold it to Microsoft. So I got to, Donald Mustard's not a real name. Look up Donald Mustard. Look it up. He retired, I think, a year and a half ago. But yeah, you can see a video of him on stage with Steve Jobs. He lives in Utah. He's in by Provo. Anyway, but then in 2012, when Battlefield 3 released, there was a Only in Battlefield competition that DICE put on, and they were looking for the top videos. And so me and some buddies stayed up all night and built a machinima video. It's on my channel. It's like my top viewed video called The Rush. And we ended up getting third place. So the first place people won a trip to Sweden to like go to the DICE studios. So we got third place, which was cool. And so anyway, long story short, when I was at TwitchCon last year, I ran into Rob from Embark, and I was like, hey, you know, I remember you from DICE. And then he was like, remembered my video. And anyway, it's pretty cool. Anyway, I have a long history in the video game industry. I don't know why I went on that fucking tangent. I apologize. I'm sure most people here probably pre-ordered the game, but I am going to be giving away like 4 or 5 copies the day it comes out. So I'm just going to be doing a giveaway on my stream. So that's my shameless self-plug. That's all I'm going to do though, because again, I didn't do any of this to other than for the love of the game. So why not go on a tangent? It's true. You know me, I'm very capable of going on a tangent. Let's see. I'll share a picture with y'all. Let's see. I want to share it without doxing myself. Oh boy. Sorry, I'm just adding my web browser as a window. Why it's not showing up?
I will have you know that the Discord is still going.
Oh, I'm sure they are. I'm sure they are. Oh, there you go. Wow, I got like 2 fucking windows there. There you go. There's me and Notch, a younger, fatter me. Not that there's anything wrong with that. That was in 2011. Yeah, that was the year Notch won Game Developer of the Year. My shirt, you can see the Geeks logo there. They're getting weird that you shared it. I mean, if anybody's going to get in trouble, it would be me, but I'm not like, I'm not under any sort of like, whatever, right? Like at the very least, we sparked a conversation. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. Like now, if I was in their creator program or something like that, I think it'd be problematic. And also I value my relationship with people in the community, and that is also the content creators in the community that I'm friends with. So I'm not going to call out who I was out with. I mean, you can figure it out if you watch my video, but yeah. Exactly. No NDA, no problem. I'm not worried about it. Like, I told Bashy, I'm like, they want to put me under NDA and like accept me joining the content creator program. But I heard rumors. This is just rumors. I will say this now. This is rumors. I heard rumors that there was going to be some sort of content creator, like 100. You probably saw it on the subreddit potentially. So there's going to be some sort of content creator event this week, and I'm just deleting this, and then I'll hide that one. And I pinged Rob from Embark, like, hey, can I get in on it? And like, didn't respond to me. He did respond and say said hello when I was at Discord, but. Hello, One-Handed Bandit. Welcome. It was already leaked by somebody. Yeah, I'm not worried. I just am saying, like, I'm definitively saying about gear-based matchmaking, like, because I had the conversation. I'm not definitively saying about anything related. That's why I just want to make it very clear. Like, I don't know who that Call of Duty leaker is. That's not what I am. I'm not just like, proselytizing bullshit. But that I heard about. But even a buddy of mine who is in the Embark content creator program, Young, if you know Young, he does a bunch of finals videos, and he's the coach for the Team Alliance. Like, I'll be streaming with him Thursday. So when the game launches, I'm streaming with Young. You can check him out on YouTube. If you don't know him, like, he's awesome. He does a lot of really entertaining videos. So he is in the Embark content creator program and was not invited to that event. At least that's what he told me as his homie. If he would have told me otherwise, and told me not to say anything, then, but he told me he was not. So my suspicion, it's going to be either higher tier people or just is not happening. You know what I mean? Like, it's just a rumor. So, but it could happen right after the trailer drops, which is like, what, in 2 days? So.
Man, I mean, we could really poke the beehive some more.
I really don't want to. I really don't want to. I'm hoping that they put out some sort of message tomorrow. That's that. You know what I mean? Like, I'm sure they. I mean, the fact that that's what everyone is talking about, like, it's funny it happened.
We could change the conversation.
Yeah. No, that's fine.
Right, my question is when are they going to add a way to reset the skill tree?
Well,
and are they?
Yes. Well, I asked him that question. That's what started the conversation. But I also will caveat that one's a little more vague to me. Like, because I asked him and he said it's part of that prestige system. And I'm like, so you, like, I didn't ask further questions because he was pretty fucking drunk. So I was like, okay, like, I didn't want to get too in the weeds. He's the one, like I said, he volunteered all the SBMM stuff and gear-based matchmaking stuff to me. But I asked the question first about that. He specifically said it was tied to the prestige or the wipe system, which surprised me. So I'm hoping that's not true, to be honest. Like, you're going to have to be really deliberate with your talents if the only way that you can reset them, unless the cap on talents is so high that you could just get all of them eventually, but like, that's the fear is that I have right now. That's my one point of feedback, that if I could get clarification on more than even the gear-based matchmaking, to be honest with you, is how talent tree resets will work, because it would suck to like have to wipe your account effectively to reset your tree. Hey, Agent, have a good night, buddy. I do agree that the skill tree will resetting with a wipe obviously is a good thing because you don't have any points left. I worry like about getting stuck. You know what I mean? Like, because there's like certain talents that like allow you to craft in raid, which I think is pretty massive, or like breaching security lockers. Like, to me, that's so significant. And if you just happen to miss them, which I don't know why you would, one of them's clear at the end of the tree, but one's right at the beginning. But yeah. Shit, I don't, unless they give me some other very good reasons to wipe my account. Yeah, I'm hoping the cosmetics, I mean, I'm sure that, I don't know. I don't know exactly. I mean, he did allude to cosmetics as being the reward for a voluntary wipe. So a cosmetic reward is kind of what he said. So like permanent skill tree unlocks for wiping my account, cosmetics wouldn't cut it for you. Season-long buffs, too. Oh, interesting. That's part of what you were talking about earlier, right, Outcast? If it's capped at 36, you need to put all of them in the tree line. Exactly. I think Shroud got to 50, or there's been speculation that 50. There's that website you can like go plug them into. I think it's called... I put it in the Arc Raiders builds, right? Arctracker.io. Skill tree. Let me make sure this is like the valid. Yeah, this right here. I guess I have to pull my own YouTube channel up to like paste the link. Yeah, if you spend too much money, that's what I'm worried about, Smash, and that's what Bashy's worried about as well. My audio may duplicate for a second. Yeah, There we go. There we go. That's the arc tracker. That's the skill tree. I believe that's updated. Server Slam. Yeah, exactly. So it does not appear that they have a cap on it though, because I've seen people put talents into everything. It kind of sucks that you have to like hit allocate. Oh, I guess you have all the talents. Anyway. But yeah, it would super suck. Like if you're like, again, that's why I'm like really nervous about just dumping talents into my tree if like I don't know what the cap's gonna end up being. And then being stuck. Extracted with no wipes or very large amount of people wiping. See the game dying unless it makes some really good updates. Yeah, they talked a little bit about the roadmap and having some content shortly after launch. You know, I didn't go when I played the tech test. I didn't really go super far into a lot of stuff because I was like, it's all going to get reset anyway. So I am curious to see. But I mean, I will say that Shroud pretty much fucking no life the game. Now, granted, it was like for 4 days, so to be fair, and it felt like he was content. And it feels like there's more than that, but I don't know. I guess we'll have to see. You know, on the other side, or the other hand, I guess, it sounded like they want to make the whole prestige system or whatever, like, more casual, so that, like, people who don't have, who are no lifing the game or whatever. Hey, thanks for the follow, Moonraker. That people are, that are no lifing the game or whatever, or people that aren't will still have a decent window. That's the real big question for me is like if I just like in Hunt, I could play all day and night and then prestige the night like that day, right? Like if I played enough hours. Based on the answers they did in the panel, which you saw, and kind of the conversation that I had with the dev, it feels like it's actually there's some sort of cooldown on it. That's what it feels like. Because what he basically said was they didn't want people to feel obligated to like no life the game. And so it does feel like that 6 to 8 week timetable and is the window. So I just don't know. Again, well, I guess we'll find out soon enough. But that was the thing that surprised me because, again, and maybe you could reset your account at any time without hitting all the way. You just don't get the reward, and maybe that allows you to, you know, reset your skill tree, like gray zone or whatever. Only opens up every 8 weeks. Did they say in the blog post? Is that what they said? That blog post I totally missed. I was traveling a shit ton for work, and I remember I should have went back into it. A 1 week window every 6 to 8 weeks. Okay. Yeah, see, like, okay. And I'm just worried that the talent tree reset is tied to that. Everything you need to know about Arc Raiders. I feel like it's that one. Top side. Let's see.
Yeah,
What? Are you looking at that?
I just pulled up the same one, yeah.
Okay, let me share my screen. Let's see. Just close this Pornhub tab. Just kidding. Just making sure none of my tabs are like anything doxing me. Let's see. XP. So there's feats, codex, workshop, traders. So the expedition project. Yeah, right here. There we go. I like to spend time talking about a topic that's important to many players familiar with games like Ark, this being the subject of progression wipes, as we refer to it, the Expedition Project. Previously, the question of how we would handle resets or wipes has come up. Until now, the answer has been, currently, we do not intend to do mandatory wipes. These words were chosen carefully as we don't intend to have mandatory wipes. However, as some have guessed, we do have voluntary reset mechanics. Just to make it clear, we absolutely see the benefits of that a global wipe provides. Veteran players can experience the game fresh. The economy is reset to the baseline, and all players have about the same level of capabilities, at least for a little while. Which is interesting because, you know, if it's gear-based matchmaking, like, you're back in the pool of players that are near your level, which is interesting, right? Like, again, not saying it's like I don't think it's a bad thing. Like I said, I feel like they've done the research, but we'll see. So Expedition Project. Tunnel networks connected to brands are vast but largely unexplored. Most survivors stay within their settlements, but like the raiders who dare venture topside, those who dare venture even further once the Rust Belt has given all it can offer. Some raiders chose to set out beyond the borders of what they know. As of now, this has been always been a one-way trip. So this is, did someone say Stella Montis or whatever? Because I'm wondering, because right now on the menu there's that thing that's like, you know, we're like removing the traps from the tunnels, like that. I wonder if it's tied to that. In the full game, players will have access to a feature called Projects. At level 20, the first major project players will have access to is Expedition Project. Upon completion, this project makes a character reset available. If the player completes a reset, they'll be able to do so again as long as they complete another one of those projects. So level 20. So at level 20, the first major project players will have access to. So they hit level 20. Stella Montis will be the first expedition for sure. Okay. That way I understood it. The red one is a weak one where you complete it and can wipe. Oh, I see. Expedition project will in a repeating cycle of roughly 8 weeks. During the course of these 8 weeks, players can contribute towards and make progress in their expedition project, which will be overall somewhat large time investment. On the start of the 8th week, the ability to finalize the project will become available and remain available for that entire week. Players fulfilled all the necessary stage of the project, they'll be able to commit to completing the expedition during this period. Should a player's project not be ready during the window, their progress will be kept allowing them to continue working on the project in the next finalization window. Other projects can be added over time for updates, holidays, seasonal. Interesting. Your raider will carry all their possessions into an unknown beyond to the Rust Belt. In return, your next raider gains a unique edge that lasts until the next expedition departs. They teased the snow map. Oh, interesting. Okay, here we go. What is kept, what is lost? So what do you get to keep through an expedition versus what is lost? Players will lose anything inherent to their character's progress, levels, skills, items, inventory, workshop, crafting capabilities, etc. Players will keep cosmetics, awards, achievements, rankings, essentially anything rooted solely in metagame or involving real money. For convenience, after completing an expedition project, players will be able to skip the majority of the onboarding and tutorial steps they went through as a new player. This being things like unblocking certain features, maps, etc. as they play through the early game. These will just be available from the start of a fresh reset. Now, aside from players who like the thrill of starting fresh, why would you willingly get up all of your hard-earned progress incentives, bonus and incentives? We're still finalizing at this point. Permanent account unlocks for each completed expedition. Unique cosmetic awards. So there you go, Moonraker. Account buffs that are applied. So that's an interesting one. Account buffs. Sequential completions of the expedition of progress increase the magnitude of these buffs up to a limit. I wonder if the buffs are like loot related. You know, because like Hunt Showdown, like your character, you have like a bloodline that gives you access to more like things, but like your character, when it dies, like you lose things. I mean, your skill tree already exists. Like, I'm curious what that buffs means. Like maybe you get more resources or rewards or something like that. One point to drive home is that being very careful about the nature of these benefits. Completing a research should never give a player power or oh yeah, here we go. Perfect. Should never give a player power or combat advantage over anyone who has not completed a reset. Yeah, there we go. Outcasts. There you go. It goes on to say thank you. Sorry, got ahead of myself. Initially, these benefits will center around cosmetics and bragging rights, quality of life, and smoothing out some aspects of progression for those that have gone through a reset. What comes next? While any and all of these are subject to change between now launch and post-launch. That's about the shape of it right now. We hope by making a reset mechanic voluntary and properly incentivized, we can observe 2 results. 1, players who are highly engaged can experience the game fresh on a regular cadence while accruing some benefits. Cool. Players who have less time to dedicate to the game don't have their progress reset out of their control. They're always able to keep moving forward at their own pace if they choose. It's not a silver bullet. It won't achieve a clean break that a mandatory global reset does, but it does aim to be more equitable for all players, wherever possible, want to value your time spent in the game as much as you do. Of course, this is complex. We'll keep an eye on the discussion. Cool. Well, that's, it doesn't, there's nothing about talents otherwise. So I'm still curious about that, but it doesn't necessarily say that that's the only way to reset your talents or skills, I guess is what they're called, right? Performing various actions grant raider experience points. For each level, the raider is also awarded skill points. You can spend to learn new skills and abilities. There are a plethora of choices here, and you'll be able to configure your raider, your personal preference. More. Well, second man, the birth. More mobile raider, more stealthy, carry more choices yours. That's the only place it mentions skills, Bashy. So I don't know.
Wait, where? Where does it mention skills?
Just in the Speranza. It's in the first, the thing you need to know, not in the article about expeditions.
Everything you need to know about Arc Raiders.
Yeah, it's in there. It's in the section called Speranza Home. It's just, if you Control F and look for the word skills, you'll find it there.
Gosh.
Well, hey, everybody, thanks for stopping by and chatting. Thanks for, again, for what it's worth, believing me. Again, if you don't believe me, that's fine too, right? Like I'm indifferent, other than I just, but I hope we find out more, and I think we may have, as Bashy said, poked the hive. So they tend to address community concerns. Let's say that, right? So there's probably going to be some sort of post tomorrow or something, or in the next couple of days. I think that might be a good thing for all of us to at least know we're eyes wide open what we're going into. But regardless, I'm going to get up at 6:30 in the morning and go do hot yoga. So I'm going to go to bed now. Thanks again for stopping through. Hopefully I see you all topside. Hopefully the game launch is fucking amazing for you. I know everybody's here because we're so stoked for this game. If we didn't care, we wouldn't care. We wouldn't be here. So, yeah, we were just domestically glad we tuned in live though. Yeah, of course. Well, have a great night, everybody. See you topside. Thanks for hanging out. Yeah, I'll keep truthing. I don't have a lot of truth. I'm full of shit mostly, but anyway. Oh yeah, and then homie from Utah, definitely hit me up sometime. But yeah. All right, grumpy gamers. Listen, I'm getting older and telling people to get off my lawn more and more, so I get it, man. I'm squinting more and more. But all right.